Okay, so I completely messed up recording numerous times. So instead of re-recording all of my gameplay, I'm just going to take the gameplay of my most recent run and I'm going to record over it. So I'm going to play on hardcore, just normal difficulty. So stuff's a little bit harder to find, like in terms of bullets and pickups and whatnot. Still, the game's very easy, I think, even on the hardest difficulties, because the stealth system is a little bit broken. So I'm going to just play through, just for fun. I have all the achievements on Steam already, so I'm not going to go for anything specific, except for I'm going for the non-canon ending, which is the good ending. Um, so I'm going to, at least to the best of my recollection, I'm not going to use a guide or anything during these playthroughs. I'm just going to play kind of because I feel like it. I'm going to play with that in mind, so whenever I remember that there's a moral point, I'm just going to, mention that. So there's a system in Metro 2033, actually in all of the Metro games, a morality system. So if you do something that's good, or at least not terrible, and sometimes it just happens naturally as you play through the game, the screen will kind of flash like this light blue white, and you'll get a little sound dripping in a cave sound, which indicates that you gained a moral point. And if you kill people who you're not supposed to, or you do something wrong, like morally incorrect, then the screen will turn black with like red, and I think it plays a different tone. Um, Generally, at least if you're playing through 2033, it's safer to just get all the moral points that you can, because you can actually choose the ending in the moment. So even if you get every single moral point possible and you avoid every single negative moral point, you could still choose to get the bad ending, which is the canon ending to Metro 2033. So I love these games. I love the books as well. I played the games first on, I think, Xbox 360, and I believe I've 100%ed them on like 360, PlayStation, and Steam. At least once on each one. I don't think I've 100%ed um, Last Light yet on Steam, and I haven't played Exodus on Steam yet. I played it on PlayStation 4, where I got the platinum. So I'm just a big fan of the games. I'm by no means like a master, or I don't know the intricacies of each of the games perfectly. I love the atmosphere. I love the characters. Yeah, I think they're just really fun games. So right here, this is the first combat encounter of 2033. It's pretty easy. If you just hide in the corner, they'll generally get drawn to Miller over you. And a lot of times, if you have a companion, that's honestly the easiest way to just get through a lot of these combat encounters. Um, for the most part, you're on your own, but there are periods where you're with Miller, or you're with other members of the Order, the Spartans, and there's also a character that you go with for a little bit named Bourbon, and he's the first one that actually takes you out onto the surface. He'll show up later in this video. So a lot of the times, especially on harder difficulties where it only takes like 2 or 3 hits from an Osali to kill you, it's generally just easier to hide in the corner, because a lot of the times movement isn't really possible. There's a little bit of inertia to your movement in this game, and moving left to right isn't as quick as moving forward and backward. So you can't just like strafe constantly back and forth and dodge attacks. If I'm out in the open, I'll still try to move diagonally to Watchmen or Nosalis, which are the like 4-legged mutants. Like they kind of look like dogs or moles or whatever. because they attack pretty laterally, linearly, I should say. So it's good to move laterally because they generally attack in a straight line. So a lot of the times you can kind of avoid their attacks, especially if they're further away from you and they lunge. They'll generally just lunge past you, which will give you an opportunity to either, you know, shoot them dead or stab them dead or whatever. Um, Especially if you have a shotgun. Shotguns are the most effective against these. So this is a pack of watchmen in the beginning of the game. It's scripted. You can't just avoid them. They're going to show up no matter what. You just have to kill a certain number of them. I don't know how many that is. I could figure that out, but that sounds like a lot of work for little reward. So you could just kill, you know, who knows, like 3, 5, 7, and then just grenade yourself, and technically it'll just bring you into the next scripted event, which is you getting knocked over, and then the flying mutants called demons come, which is right here. So yeah, this is all scripted. It's, you know, you're not in any danger. This is supposed to happen. Honestly, one of the things that stands out is I love the new textures, because the original textures for Metro2033 are a little bit wonky at times, or they're a little bit awkward. They don't have the greatest character design, and part of that's because 4A was just a, you know, they were like an indie developer. They were super small time, so they didn't have, you know, the time to create 50 different character models and super detailed textures and meshes for the mutants. So I was really happy when they announced the Reduxes, because I knew that they care about the series a lot, and that they would give the best of their ability to, you know, kind of put new life into their games. You know, and I think if you play back to back, like if you play 2033 and then Redux, which this is 2033 Redux, so it's up-resed, it's, you know, I don't know if it's a different engine, but it's definitely different, like textures and meshes and everything. It just looks way better. Like, this looks like the product of passion and care, as opposed to, you know, maybe 6 guys developing an entire game by themselves. And the same goes for Last Light. So 2033 and Last Light came out, and then they went back and they did the HD Reduxes, which are what I'll be playing, partly because it just looks better and partly because of stability. I don't remember 2033 crashing too bad, like on PC, but for whatever reason, I just remember encountering a lot of bugs. Oh, so they're, you know, always, you know, eco-friendly, turn off your lights before you leave your house. But I always remember 2033 is like pretty buggy. Same thing with Last Light, where there'd be like weird shit that happens. And later on in this recording, there's going to be some weird clipping and frozen animations and stuff that show up. You know, no game's perfect. This game runs exceptionally well, especially compared to the original version. So in case it isn't clear by now, I highly recommend these games. I love them very much. Me talking over them isn't really doing them justice, for the atmosphere or whatever. So here's one of the things where you, right there, that is a positive moral point, and you wouldn't necessarily think to just stand next to NPCs, but generally, you don't just get positive moral points from like doing the obvious thing. A lot of times it's listening to somebody. More often than not, it's giving money to beggars. There's numerous beggars. So here you have an opportunity for another moral point just by listening to these people. Going in, I always forget that the notepad isn't in this room. It's over here on this desk. So boom, there I go. Get the notepad. And then if you go through this shade on the right, you can go through and you just have to stand kind of at the back of the room, and it'll give you another moral point. So they don't usually come this often. Part of this is just that the beginning of the game is kind of front loaded with moral points. you know, a lot of the times when you're in the tunnels between stations, um, you know, they're a little bit harder to come by because there aren't too many characters to interact with or listen to, and there's no beggars to pay money, or not pay money, but give money to. Um, so if you're unfamiliar with the series, Metro takes place in a metro, so it's the Russian, in Moscow, it's the Russian subway system, and each of the stations has basically formed its own government and its own political system, and it enables the storytelling of the series to have kind of a revival of these classic 20th century tropes of, you know, you have the communist Reds, you have the revival, the Fourth Reich, the Nazis, you know, so there's Nazis that control, there's the Hansa, which are like ultra capitalists, and those, like, the philosophical aspects of Metro is covered much more in the books, where these are clearly just adaptations of the universe. They're not really stories based on the books. Um, Especially Metro 2033. I find that Metro 2033 is actually one of the most layered books that I've read as like a part of like adult fiction or whatever. So right here, I always joke that, like, hey, I'm getting the AK right this time, right, stepdad? I'm totally getting the AK out of that locker, right? Yeah, I'm just gonna go over here. I'm gonna get the AK-76. Oh, okay, shit. Okay, great. I get the fucking revolver again. So, I had to interrupt my own segue. It is an achievement here to kill all of the Nosalis before they get through the vents, and that only counts for the 4 vents on the walls. So that one and the one opposite of it, and those 2 that you can see right now. This center shaft, there's always this scripted Nosali who's going to come through, and, you know, Hunter is arguably the most dangerous man in the metro, so he's going to take care of it no problem. And your job is to basically shoot these as they come in. If you're quick and if you get headshots, you can kill these in one hit. That guy dropped from the center, and you can see how quick they attack. So sidestepping doesn't really help, you know, because they basically do these wide looping punches. But if they lunge at you from a distance, you can sometimes make them miss. So I'm only playing on normal difficulty, so they die pretty easily. I definitely recommend you trying to get this achievement if you're going for it on normal or easy, because there's just no point in trying to do this if you're playing like on a harder difficulty, because you have to get a headshot to kill them. On higher difficulties, and in my opinion, that's just really not worth the effort, because it's just one single achievement, and it's so early in the game and early in the chapter that it's really not that difficult to just start a new game on easy and then get this achievement and then reload and go for whatever else you want, or just do this as a cleanup at the end. So going back to the discussion of the actual metro, we're in exhibition, and there's different, you know, stations. There's Alexevskaya, there's Polis, there's Tula, there's all these different ones, and each of them have either their own affiliation, like their own government with themselves, or oh no, it's a disaster. And so it's fun to be able to like go through and, you know, deal with all these different enemies and different like structures of enemies, you know, because the Reds comport themselves differently than the Nazis do, and Hansa does, etc., etc. See, and this is why you never do drugs. You know, if you do drugs, this is what your neighborhood will look like. You know.
The devil knows what's happening out there beyond your perimeter. I must go recon the situation. Listen carefully at him. If I'm not back here by morning, you must get to police station and find a man named Miller.
So narratively, I understand why they don't follow the book in regard to
knows I've sent you.
Artyom's origin. So where he admits that he is one of the ones responsible for even bringing the Dark Ones into contact with humans, because he went to the botanical gardens and opened up a pneumatic gate that he shouldn't have with two of his friends. And he admits this to Hunter, who agrees not to kill him because he had promised beforehand, like, you know, you have a secret, you need to tell me. I promise I won't punish you for it. So Artyom tells him, like, you know, I'm responsible. As a kid, I opened the pneumatic gate, which enabled all these monsters to come through. As well as Artyom's like original backstory, where I forget his uncle, is it Uncle Sasha or stepfather or whatever? So his stepdad, the gray-haired guy, who kind of led us through the intro right there, he isn't like blood related to you, and he didn't marry your mom. It was your station when you were a kid. Artyom's, I mean, his home station was inundated with a flood of rats that literally just came in like a tide and devoured an entire station. And so while the people were running through the tunnels to the next station, you were rescued by who's your stepfather in Metro. So your mom basically thrust. So this is a weird one too. Like, I couldn't remember. I was like, oh, do I have to listen to them? Oh no, you play, yeah, like that. You just play that little loop, and that gives you a moral point. So there's a lot of weird moral points in this game. Couldn't remember if there's one over there, but yeah, if you haven't read the books and you care at all about like fiction, it's a good book. If you care about like philosophy and political analyzation in fiction, then you're gonna love it. Like, not even just political, it's also religious. I think the books are great. I think they're great. 2033 especially as a standalone is just a fantastic game, a fantastic book. 2034, which is the sequel, actually follows Hunter and two new characters named Homer and Sasha. And it's very different from 2033 and 2035, but it's still good. Not as good as the other two, I think. So right there, I'm choosing not to. Well, first off, I can't afford anything. And I kind of make a mistake at the next station that we go to. We go to Riga. And I purchase I sell the bastard that I'm going to get, which is the submachine gun in the game. And I purchase a silencer and a stock for my revolver. But I forget that you get the Tykar in one of the, like, side tunnels, which is, like, in my opinion, it's the best silenced weapon. It's the first pneumatic gun you get. And so I shouldn't have bought the silencer. I should have just waited to pick something up, because as you progress through the game, the enemies get better guns with, like, more attachments. So, like, for instance, so that submachine gun, you'll get it just bare bones right here, and you can pay to upgrade it. Or if you wait like 2 levels, you'll kill a bandit or a Nazi soldier who has the same gun, but it has, you know, a laser pointer, an extended magazine, a red dot sight. You know, it economically, it doesn't make sense to buy upgrades in this game generally. You know, and that's not always true. Sometimes it's like if you feel like you need, or you just like a gun. If you like a gun, buy the upgrade. Like, whatever, man. Like the revolver, I know I'm gonna carry the revolver to the end of the game, so I feel totally fine either putting the long barrel or the silencer on it, putting the stock on it, putting a red dot on it. Feel totally fine doing that. Management isn't that bad. I remember this game being like way more brutal in terms of like resource scarcity, kind of like how Resident Evil gets when you're playing like on higher difficulties. So like Resident Evil 4, which is one of my favorite games of all time, like playing that on professional is just a pain in the ass. And I remember when I first played 2033, I remember getting like kind of the same vibe from that, where it was just, I felt like I was constantly low on ammo, I was constantly running out of med kits, and I was like just scrounging around hunting for, extra money, extra whatever. And I don't know if it's something they changed in the Redux, because I haven't played the original releases, 2033 or Last Light, since they came out, but I've played the shit out of the Reduxes, so I don't know if that's something that they just changed, but it's really not that bad, even on the hardest difficulty on like hardcore or survival. So there's survival and there's Spartan. Survival makes it like resources are more scarce. It's more for like you want to hunt in every corner, digging into the cracks in the couch to try to get everything you can, versus Spartan, which is more run and gun. And then difficulty. I think it's just damage scaling. I don't think that has anything to do with items. I think it's just like health regeneration rates, like actual health, like how many hits it takes for you to drop, etc. So, and if you don't like having resource scarcity, you don't like dealing with it, like play on easy, play on Spartan, like who cares, it's a fucking video game, have fun. If you feel like, oh no, if I don't play on the hardest difficulty or on the hardest whatever, but you're not gonna have fun, then what's the point of playing a game anymore? And so that's why, like, I don't feel bad at all. Like, I'm playing on Ranger, not Spartan, but I'm only playing on hardcore. There's like Ranger hardcore and like other shit that's like way harder. I think there's 2 difficulty levels above where I'm at right now, and part of that's just that I don't really care because I've already gotten all the achievements on 2033, and part of that's just like I just want to have fun with at least 2033 because I love this game. It's just fun to experience the story again. When I do Last Light next, I'll have to play on Ranger difficulty, I think, to like flesh out. I'm not gonna try. I haven't 100%ed Last Light yet, but I'm gonna try to get like a fair number of achievements as I play through. So, and then maybe I'll go back after Exodus and I'll like finish up and just have all 3 games 100%ed on my Steam account. I've already got them 100%ed on my PlayStation and Xbox accounts, so I figure why not use this as an excuse to get it, just round out the trifecta. Why not? Fuck it. Might as well. I don't got anything better to do, so I'll give it a shot. So narratively, right now we're trying to make our way to Riga, but we have to go past Alexevskaya because the tunnel's collapsed, the main tunnel that connects the two. And I make a comment here where I'm like, oh yeah, I feel totally safe because the game automatically made me draw my gun, so nothing could possibly go wrong. And don't worry, guys, nothing goes wrong. Everything's totally fine. This is totally safe. Oh, his head doesn't hurt. It's fine. He's just being a baby. Don't read into that because there's nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about at all. Yeah, and this kind of happens in the book as well. This is one of the few. It's not even like really shot for shot, I guess, because I think in the book, Artyom doesn't even like pass out or anything. He just feels the effects of the tunnel on him while everybody else like collapses, and then he makes his way through. 2033 follows loosely the events of the book 2033, but it's the Last Light and Exodus that are pretty much just unique games. Like they consulted with Dmitry Glukhovsky, who wrote the Metro series, and he's written more than just those 3 books. He wrote like a bunch of side stories and like the Outpost and like all these different things. And I think he said he's done writing, but then after Exodus, I think he said that he's not going to write any more books, but he will definitely weigh in on like or with them. Like obviously, if they consult him, he'll weigh in with them on like where he thinks the story could go and all of that, because it's like it like pays homage, but it's also such a departure from the real books, you know. And I feel like they did themselves a service doing that, because I think that the story of the games works on its own just fine. Like, it's a shooter, I get it. Like, it's an FPS. It's not supposed to be this, you know, it's not supposed to be this masterpiece of a story that's being told. And, you know, it's not like a Final Fantasy, Witcher, RPG-esque, you know, levels of storytelling. It's a shooter, and for what it is, it's got great atmosphere. It's got a very compelling story, I think. So yeah, we're in the spooky tunnel now. We're gonna wake our friends up and make a grand escape. So. Right here, if you can get headshots and you feel comfortable in that, that's worth doing. But right there, it's usually easier just to wait for the Nosalis to like jump, and then they'll freeze a little bit, and then you can usually take them out in one hit. This is scripted. This is supposed to happen, so don't feel like you did anything wrong if you have to get this quick time event. Because boom, now you get your duplet, so your double barrel, and this is like the king of killing monsters. So even after you get like the 8-shot shotgun and the Shambler, which I think is like a 6-shot rotary, you know, magazine or whatever, I still prefer the duplet, just because it is left click one barrel, right click both barrels, and double barreling any hunt Watchman or yeah, I forgot about this. So yeah, this is one of those glitches I mentioned earlier. So right clicking, and it's funny because actually you get attacked like through this whole period, but for whatever reason when it glitched like this, they refuse to jump on. So I don't know if it's like, there you go. So he's scripted again to jump in because he's supposed to knock you down. So I think it's like the glitched out Nosalis there is like filling in the space so that whatever other Nosali can jump in, the script, the way that the code's written is basically like that space, that 3-dimensional space has to be open in order for the like animation to go through and for him to jump up. So I think that's what happened there. Normally you get attacked by like 2 or 3 more Nosalis, and it's usually easier just to wait for them to jump, and then sometimes they'll pause at the back of the car and then they'll jump to the side, and then other times they'll like hit the back and then immediately jump. So it's usually safer to just wait for the second jump and then just double barrel them, because they won't flood you. Like, they're not going to throw 3 at you at a time. They'll generally just throw like 2 at you, or 1 at you at a time. So it's very easy to reload both barrels of your shotgun and take care of it that way, because it's honestly just the most effective gun, hands down. Like, short range. Arguably, I guess you could argue like the flamethrower that you get later is a little bit better at short ranges, but you know, even then, the duplet, it just dumps damage so fast and it reloads so fast. So on the table there, that's a shambler. So you get like 6 shots, but you only fire through one barrel, and it goes through, and then it's slow to reload. So
To you. Hell, if not for you, Artyom, would have been shredded like cabbage. You deserve a medal. Or at least some extra ammo. Here.
sorry, my little sister's texting me.
To you, Artyom. To you.
Artyom, you really immune to that shit?
See if that shroom vodka knocks him down, huh?
Okay, we've got
Yeah, so this is
to our luck.
the first conversation that broaches on the topic of Artyom being special. So where he's able to resist a lot of the things in the tunnels more effectively than like other people.
The vodka kicks everyone's
So
ass, huh?
this is kind of a big theme in this game and in the first book, where Artyom is just like put out on this mission to try to save the Metro and save, you know, his home, and he goes to great lengths. And so here you can go to like empty tables, and in the sink, in the record player, I think is where I grabbed them. Yeah, so you can get just like a little bit of extra, even if it's one bullet. Like fuck it, it's one bullet. You know, I mean, you have 10 times that you say, oh, it's just one bullet. Well, guess what? You can buy incendiary grenades with that. You can buy throwing knives with that. You can do, you know, you'll get closer to, you know, whatever cool upgrade you want. So at this point, I'm like price checking stuff, and then I go through all the stores, and then that's kind of when I remember, like, oh shit, yeah, they gave me a shambler or a bastard, and I hate that gun. Like, I just hate shooting that gun. So I realize, like, hey, I'm probably just gonna sell this because I'm not gonna use it. It's ammo inefficient. It's inaccurate. I'm not a big fan of that gun. So I kind of have that realization in about like 10 seconds. And like I look and I'm like, oh right, you can buy guns. Oh wait, that means I can sell guns. Look at that. Oh shit, there you go. So that'll eventually be filled by an AK, and then eventually like an AK-2000 or whatever, like the best assault rifle in the game is. I keep a revolver like the entire game, and I keep a duplet basically the entire game too. I'll switch. Sometimes I replace the revolver with a Tykar, which is like the pneumatic, like you have to like hand pump the gun up and you shoot ball bearings. We'll get that later in the video too, because if you overpressure it, so you know, like, okay, I just have to kill this one guy, and I want to make sure that I kill him. You can over pump it so that it's more powerful, and then you pretty much just one shot anybody if you hit them in the head. So this is kind of like Resident Evil 4's minigame, like with the gallery, the shooting. I don't remember the specific rules. I just know that I fucked it up like once or twice. Like, I don't know how I missed there. Please don't judge me. Too bad, at least. I deserve a little bit of judgment. But this is kind of when I remembered that it's actually not bad to have the bastard for this. So even if you hate the gun like I do, I recommend selling it after using it here, because you get the nice precise aim with the revolver, but if you are stuck reloading it, you might miss a rat. So what you can do is you can just toggle over and swap, you know, because it's always, remember, it's always faster to swap to your sidearm than it is to reload. So you can swap to your bastard, and you can just like quick dust up whatever rats there are, and then go back to your revolver and reload your revolver. Especially like this isn't too bad, but when they're down on the ground, those like pipes, yeah, here it is. So down on these pipes, there'll be 6 rats that come out, and you have to kill them before they disappear. and they'll move around a bit. Like, they give you ample chance. Like, it is not that difficult. You know, I think I was buzzed, and, you know, I missed shots. Not, like, terribly, but consistently through this. And, you know, I managed to get the payout. So if you make it through, you basically just get... we'll be able to see in, like, 10 seconds, but you get a certain number of bullets. And I think I messed up. I think that the left is the, like, second level. So 25. So there you go. You get 25 bullets for free. You know, high quality cartridges. You can use that to buy anything you want later. It's just worth doing. Like, that took, like, what, 2.5 minutes? Or even less than that. I'm not sure. Totally worth doing. Here, I always pay the kid a bullet, even though I know where I'm going, because it's, you know, a 4,000 square foot station, because I want the moral point. There you go. Pander to kids, get a moral point. That's all you need to know about this game. Plus, he's cute. Who doesn't like kids? There you can pay, and you get a moral point. I thought that there was a safe key here, because there's the safe right next to it. And then I remember that it's right there. So you can see it in the top left corner of the screen. And I missed it. We're going to go in there for story purposes later. Bullet on the counter. And then there I'm like, oh, hey, there's that holographic red. Oh, it opens the safe that's 15 feet away from it. That seems like a very secure lockbox for 24 bullets. We smart. That's for sure. So, here we meet Bourbon. He's a very interesting character. A bit of a smart ass. A bit of a hard ass. But you know what? He's our hard ass. And in the books, he's clearly a scumbag that's gonna like betray Artyom and gets killed before that happens. Spoiler alert. But in the game, it's like, you know, it's kind of like one of our first bros, I guess, is what you could say. So he's our first, like, apart from the introduction, which is, like, technically the end of the game, he's our first companion as we make our way through the hellish hellscape that is the Moscow Metro. So he gives us bullets. Then there's stuff on this table behind him. Which is worth picking up, especially if you're going for the notes achievement. I'm not going to get all of the notes, because I'm doing this one off of memory. And I sure as fuck don't remember where all of the notes are. So here, this is funny. So, yeah, you're like, oh, cool, you know, I'm a horny teenager. I could totally do this. I'm going to pay her one bullet and I'm going to go. Nope, don't do it, because she's going to knock your ass out and she's going to take your fucking money. So don't do it, guys. Don't fall for it. You know, these bitches be lying. So you pretty much just have to leave line of sight. And then when you come back, you can leave with Bourbon and begin the next chapter. And he walks super slow, which is something that all the NPCs do, and it frustrates the hell out of me. So, whatever. It is what it is, right? So I get impatient here, and I'm like, "Fuck it, dude. I'll go. I'll go on my own. I don't care." I do it later too, in the next level when we're going through the tunnels, and I didn't realize that I had to be like within a certain proximity of a prop for like an animation to take place so Bourbon can come and join me. So I had to like backtrack after sitting on my ass like an idiot for 2 minutes. don't worry, guys. We get his AK one way or another. And that's the damn truth. Oh yeah, I kind of had to relearn the controls on keyboard a little bit because I've just played this game so much on. Even when I played it on PC before, I always played it with my Xbox One controller because let's be real, the Xbox One controller is like the most comfortable ergonomic controller for like shooters. I think it's just the best. Obviously, like I can shoot better with keyboard and mouse. So here's gonna be the first example of my like absolute dedication to check the stupidest fucking corners in the game for items. Even when I know there's nothing back there, I will double check regardless. And that is not the first time I'm going to do it, and it's not the last time I'm going to do it. But then I'm also going to blow past like the super obvious shit that I forgot about. And you guys are going to be like, whoa, Magik doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about because Magik just goes and walks past like the frickin' upgraded duplet like in the middle of the goddamn tunnel, but he'll go into like 18 frickin' cracks and crannies to find like 8 bullets. It's like, yeah, you're damn straight that's what I'm gonna do, because, you know, I don't fucking remember where all this shit is. I gotta check. If I miss something, I miss something. Like, get off my dick, come on. So it'll come up later, but yeah, don't hang around the pipes if you don't have to. So this offshoot is completely optional. You don't have to go back here. You're just gonna have to kill 2 of the lurkers, I think is what he called them. I forgot. I wasn't paying attention. I got distracted by my phone. No, I didn't. I'm paying attention. 100%, guys. I'm giving this 100% of my attention. I swear to God. So you basically just got these 2 little lurkers, and they're like these little rat bastards that will go into these little holes that you can see on the ground and on the walls, and they'll just fuck your shit up if you don't pay attention. And here's where we get the Tykar. So this is why I shouldn't have bought the silencer for the revolver. And it's not even that I shouldn't have, it's that I didn't need to. It's totally fine that I have a silencer on my revolver, but I didn't need it because this is a silenced weapon. It's more powerful than the revolver when you pump it up, and it has better ammo capacity, although the first 5 shots are the only, like, you know, shots that actually do damage, because as you shoot, the pneumatic pressure drops. You know, if you've ever played airsoft with like a CO2 pistol or a green gas or something like that, it's like, no, that first shot will, like, you know, make Josh Fleer bleed, you know, sticking his bare back, and you're laughing your ass off at his pain. But then like the second and third shots, they bounce off, and then the fourth and fifth shots don't even hurt. Yeah. The game makes me go through the side door instead of the back door. Opposite of my girlfriend, she always makes me go through the front door, not the back door. Nothing up here except for the revolver bullets. I assume it's a 38 special. I don't know. This is Russia. They got weird shit out there, so who knows. We're about to have our first encounter with bandits. They give you... There's a key. Pick that up for sure. They give you your first arrow for the Van Helsing, or the Helsing, but I don't even think that you can get it for like another 4 hours in the game. So I think that's just kind of weird. Like, I don't know if that's... totally didn't hit that can. Totally didn't hit that can. I was paying attention, I swear to God. That can was moving because of the wind. It's not because I kicked it with my goddamn shin. Here, so these little glass plates, if you step on those, they'll crackle and alert people that you're there. Same thing over here, but you can reach over and just loot everything anyway. Stealth is broken in this game. on my watch, you can see a little light above the watch face and see how it turns blue and it flickers blue on and off. So if it's blue, you're noticeable. And if it's not blue, you are freaking like completely invisible. You can like breathe on the back of an enemy's neck and he will not question you at all. So it is easily, like if you're playing on the hardest difficulties and you're trying to go for those achievements, by far the easiest thing to do is just to try to stealth your way through the game as much as possible. So here I'm not even trying that hard. Here I mean to knock him out, but I don't, like I said, I don't remember the keyboard stuff. I actually have to double check what my melee is, and I end up just stabbing him in the spine. So totally fine. He's a bandit. He deserved it. He doesn't have a wife or kids, I'm pretty sure. Hey man, you do the crime, you deserve the punishment. So turn off lights whenever you can. You can even shoot lights and they won't always like question it. They'll be like, oh shit, that blew a fuse or something, and they won't they won't like run around like goddamn apes like they're gonna do in about 10 seconds. So right there, cap that guy. I'm going to cap the guy with the lantern because he's going to notice that first body because I just did that out in the open like a baboon. So he's going to turn off the light and go, oh shit, I got to kill him. So I kill him. And then these guys, I get impatient and I'm like, you know what, whatever. This is easy difficulty, or it's normal, but it's normal is easy. I'm just going to try to I'm pretty quick on a mouse. I'm pretty quick on a mouse. I played some Counter-Strike back in the day. I could totally forehead. Oh, okay. Last guy got away. Oh, no, he didn't. Actually, that gave the hit marker that I headshot him. So I'm a fucking god gamer, guys. I've headshot 4 guys who were all sleepy and tired and like totally unprepared for me. I outsped them. I was like freaking Naruto and the Raikage. I won. I proved my manhood. So going through here, killing bandits is okay, more morally. Obviously don't kill civilians. If you're going for like the good ending, it's generally safer just to knock everybody out instead of killing them. There are achievements. I think the map's called Frontline. I think it's called Frontline, and it's basically like the communists and the Nazis have basically like entrenched themselves, and they're just fighting over like 2 bridges. And the Nazis are on one side, the communists are on the other, and there's an achievement to literally just kill every motherfucker on that level. Okay. Oh god. Oh Matt, you're just bragging about Counter-Strike. Oh Magik, how dare you. And not only that, I also go on to miss that motherfucker way back there. Which, I mean, it's iron sights. It's a revolver. But still, like, and there he's like glitched into the ground. So you can't actually see the gun. So I was like trying to loot it for ammo and I couldn't. So the encounter's really not that bad. There's only like 10 guys. Bourbon, like if you do get noticed early on, like you kick a can or you step on glass and the enemies know you're there, Bourbon is invincible, so he will face tank like unparalleled and undeserved amounts of damage. So if you're playing on a harder difficulty and you get noticed, it's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, the checkpoints aren't too bad in this game. Like, they space themselves out pretty well. So even if you have to, reload checkpoint, restart a section, it's not the worst thing in the world. Like, I just stopped playing frickin' Knights of the Old Republic because my most recent run through, I realized that I hadn't saved in 3 hours, and then the game crashed, and then I wept openly for about 15 minutes, pulled myself together, tried to play, and then I just couldn't bring myself to play the last 3 hours again. So then I was like, well, what can distract me from having to replay those 3 hours of KOTOR? So, yeah, I'm gonna finally start streaming. That's what I'm gonna fucking do. So right here, this is when I just basically blitz and I just run. And I even say, like, as I'm recording this, I'm like, oh yeah, you know, there are sections in this game you can just blitz through. It's like no big deal, whatever. I come back for the Nosalis. You know, you can leave Bourbon, like, it's all good. You know, you can get to the end and then you're fine once you, like, go through a loading gate. Whatever. Totally wrong, because there's going to be a section coming up where you kind of, like, go down through a train car that's, like, diagonally perched. And, you have to be within, like, a certain units of measurement, I guess, for that to fall. So it's basically supposed to... oh, God, that's so creepy. It's basically supposed to fall down into the chasm after Bourbon goes through, and he's supposed to go through right after you go through. So I'm kind of being a dumbass right now, where I'm like, whoa, you know, I'm just going to run ahead. No big deal. It's easy. Gonna go down, la-di-da. All that easy shit. And then I come to the realization, and I'm like, fuck, god damn it, such an idiot. But it's old news. We all know I'm fucking dumb. It's right here. Come back just to check. Go down. So right here you can tell I'm just like, yeah, no, just run. Just run. It's all good. Because that door down on the right, that's where we're supposed to go to. And I was like, oh shit, I can't activate this. What am I supposed to do? Oh, I'll just wait here. I'm gonna search these corners that I know doesn't have anything in it. Just a dead end. Like, huh, is there any shortcut? Can I jump down onto a little corner? So, like, look, right there is a perfect example of why the duplet is just superior to any other shotgun in the game. It's because you can just unload both barrels. If I had the Shambler or the bicycle, you know, 8-shot shotgun or whatever right there, I would have fired one shot. He would have lunged forward, beat my ass. I would have panicked, missed with the second shot. He would have hit me again with his goddamn little mole claw, and then I would have shot him again. So there, I moved close enough, and then it triggers the animation for that train car to fall. And now finally Bourbon's coming. I could have saved us all a minute and a half. I could have fast forwarded this part. I could have cut this part, but I didn't. So you're just going to have to live with that. God, they all run so slow in this game. So, yeah, Bourbon's like, oh, fuck. Okay, we're going to go in through the side. We're going into a trap. It's all good. It's all good. And Artyom is like, yeah, totally. What's wrong with that? Nothing seems wrong about this whatsoever. Everything's totally fine. Up to this point, I've been a goddamn mushroom farmer in, like, the fringes of the metro. This all seems totally normal to me. So there. Yeah, you can see how fast they attack. They're a pain in the ass. Like, honestly. And then they'll glitch like that. And that's usually the extent of the glitches that you'll encounter in 2033. Is like, sometimes hits don't register right. It's really fucking weird. Where you will double barrel a Nosalis, but if he's at, like, a certain part of his animation, for, like, attacking or jumping or something, for whatever reason, it's like he's labeled indestructible by the game. And then you'll dump, like, another 4 shells into him, and then he's dead. So, you know what? I don't think I need to have a gas mask on right here. And I did. That's not breakable. Don't worry about that. There's a portion coming up where you do want to fall through the floor. Oh no, that's in a little bit. So here's where you start tripping balls, which is just another PSA warning, like, you know, don't do drugs, like all that shit, because this is what'll happen right here. This was one marijuana right here did all this. See that? Look how bad this is. It's like a fucking mass grave, and that was one marijuana. So this hallucination, you literally just have to run towards the gate in the dream. You can run around, you can do whatever you want in this room. It's all based on timing, like with the animations with bourbon. So now you have to like just run towards the gate. You get a little bit of resistance, but you pick up inertia, and then you make it, and then you'll hang out for a little bit, and then it'll, you know, flash back, and then you can run around and do whatever you want. Crouch to try to just leave bourbon behind, but it won't let you because the game needs him for later. Fucking let me through. Hate this guy. No, he's good. I like him. I love bourbon. Almost as much as I love Irish whiskey. So I'll take that for whatever it's worth. So yeah, you're saving bourbon from the siren song of the marijuana pit right there. Grab a adult beverage. Sorry. So yeah, we're quickly introduced to how weird shit gets in the Metro. You know, there's ghosts, there's electrical wisps, there's haunted tunnels. So over here, you literally just have to like run and jump. And this third thing will fall a little bit. Then you have to like activate the animation for the body to open up for you to grab the key. And that key will get you into one of the easiest safes in the game to miss, which is coming up right here. So the keys, just so you know, the keys are almost always like immediately used. Like you'll find a key, you'll pick it up, and generally you'll be able to find the key within like a minute, or the safe, corresponding safe within like a minute. So I realized that that's where I want to go to continue the story. So I dropped down because obviously, you know, I know better. And I'm going to loot this corpse, and then I'm going to go to the easiest safe in the game to miss, and then also the easiest puzzle in the game, which I'm going to fuck up and make myself look super cool, you know, super duper smart. So this is us trying to get into market. Bourbon's like up top. You can't, I don't think I look up, but this right here. So this is a little haven or a little like safe house for some sort of agent or some sort of person. And here, oh, it's steam. If you walk into it, it hurts you. And I come in here and I'm like, oh, where's the wheel? I can't find it. Oh, I'm full on med kits. So I use a med kit and then pick one up, turn off the lamp, check that shit out. Don't need the gun. That's how you can easily get that barrel upgrade for free. And I think it's worth like 45 ammo. And I decide that it's not worth picking that up and then selling it because I'd just rather have the guns that I have. And I'm like, where the fuck is the goddamn wheel? Can't go in there. There's nothing out here. There's a note and like some filters, whatever. I'm like, what the? Oh, okay, yeah, all right, there you go. That's how you turn it off. Makes sense. Oh, Steam's gone. So you go in, you get the loot. It's all good. The safes are almost always like worth getting because they'll have anywhere from like 20 to 50 high grade like military cartridges or whatever they call them. Because you notice I get the duplet out. Because I know I'm about to get my shit pushed in by Nosalis. So they don't want to let us in because they're a bunch of dicks. So with this part, it's honestly like the easiest thing to do is just to post in this corner and stay with your butt right up against the wall behind you, because all of the Nosalis will come from the direction that I'm facing in. So it's really easy to just sit here. You can see every enemy coming your way. Let Bourbon take the damage. Let him soak up all that he can. He'll take care of some people. And then if anybody gets close to you, you give them the double barrel. And, it's the world's most ineffective incendiary grenade ever. So I double barrel. I think it was in this run, because I had to re-record a bunch of times because I suck. I think it's in this run that I actually pull off a pretty sweet sidestep. Maybe it's not. Where I'm like, oh, yeah. Float like a butterfly. Yeah, right there. So see, if you move laterally, and they've begun the animation to lunge at you, they will lunge to where you were. So you can dodge them that way. Other than that, if they get close, they just like swing like crazy and just like knock your ass out. So this section's not that hard, especially once the rail car comes out. And it pretty much just finishes, finishes them off, and it begins this whole discussion of, Bourbon's fucked over a bunch of people, whatever. We'll get into that into the next part. Because I think we've only got like 4 minutes left or something. Basically, they're going to open the door, we're going to go in, and then I'm going to struggle to try to figure out how to stop streaming, because I'm a goddamn idiot. And yeah. Yep. And then, not just that, on the third attempt at trying to do this, this is a rare animation, and this is only like the third time I've ever gotten that. And it's because I'm sitting idle. So maybe I should see what it takes to get that animation. I don't know. It's just I'm so stupid sometimes, where I'm like, oh, finally I got the gameplay right. I didn't have like drop frames, didn't have like all these issues, and then lo and behold, my fucking game audio was like 200% too loud, and my mic, you couldn't even hear me talking through this whole thing. And then I was like, do I really want to record the first hour of a game that I've beaten 90,000 times again? No, I'm not doing it. So you get this shit instead.